he was asleep in a car at a Wendy's. We took to the streets to demand that we defund and abolish the Atlanta Police Department, and yet here they are, right, investing $30 million of our public dollars, $60 million private dollars to build this urban warfare training facility. Right. And the mayor is saying that black people want this. The mayor must have forgotten that our ancestors were literally fighting abolition since they were brutally brought to this country. They were fighting for freedom, fighting the original police, right, the slave patrols that captured black bodies to take them back to their white masters. He's talking to the same black people whose elders were fighting here in these same streets in the 60s and the 70s to stop police occupation of our communities. Resistance to police, resistance to state violence is literally in our blood as black people. It is in our DNA. And so it's embarrassing to have this black misleadership class lying on our names, lying on our legacy, lying on our politics, lying on our beliefs. And it is not just Mayor Andre Dickens. We have Jason Dozier, we have Michael Julian Bond, and we have Antonio Lewis. We have the same Antonio Lewis who ran for city council on the names of people who were murdered by the Atlanta Police Department, who said that he was out there with us in the streets in 2020, and now is advocating for more money to the same police department, advocating for housing for that same police department. We know that just this week, Andre Dickens brought to City Council a proposal to give $500,000 of our COVID relief money to build housing for cops. Exactly. We don't support that. We've never supported that. And we know that any claim that we do is a lie. Now, why are they lying on our name? They're lying on our name because they want money from the same white corporations that are funding Cop City. Home Depot, Chick-fil-A, Coca-Cola, Norfolk Southern, AT&T, Cox Enterprises, who owns the AJC, so be careful where you get your information from. And this is not a new trend, right? We know in the 60s, this is when this alliance started. When the black misleadership class told the white people who own businesses, we will sell out our people, we will keep the black masses quiet, we will control them so that both of us can continue to make money. That's why they're lying on our name. And we're here to reject that. The jig is up. We can't be lied to. We can't be fooled. We don't need them speaking for us. Right? And this is a fight that we will win, that we are committed to winning. Right. And so when we talk about winning, it's important to say, what do we mean when we say that we'll win? We mean no Cop City anywhere. Not in South Atlanta, not in DeKalb, not in North Atlanta, nowhere, right? We mean that we will free all our political prisoners. Free them all, especially in this moment, the people being held on trumped-up domestic terrorism charges, many of which were just literally holding signs like y'all today that say Stop Cop City. When we say that we will win, we mean that there will be an independent investigation into Tortuguita's murder. Because we can't trust the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, who's working with the same pigs that killed Tortuguita. When we say that we will win, we are meaning that this fight does not stop with Cop City. This is a fight for the liberation of all oppressed people here and abroad. And that's why it's disgusting that the mayor and that these corporations would talk about outside agitators. The reason that there are people coming from all over the world to support this fight is because this is a fight that affects all of us. The Atlanta Police Foundation admitted that 43% of the cops being trained at that facility will not be in Georgia. So when people come from Tennessee, from New York, from California, it's because they know that their local police might learn how to kill them together the Gilly program.
Yes.
So the same techniques being used to brutalize black people are being used to practice genocide on the Palestinian people, and the same tactics being used to practice genocide on the Palestinian people are being used to brutalize black people right here. So when people come from all over the world to say stop Cop City, they're not outside agitators, they're standing in solidarity with us because this is a fight that affects us all. Now, if we are going to talk about outside agitators, let's talk about the real outside agitators. Let's talk about the police who come in and occupy our communities, who literally have homes being built for them in our communities to push us out. Those are the outside agitators. Let's talk about all the people gentrifying our neighborhoods, gentrifying our communities because of the policies put in place by city council, because of the money coming from these corporations to build luxury apartments, to build million-dollar homes, to raise our property taxes and our rents so we can't even stay in Atlanta. Those are the outside agitators that they don't want us to talk about. And so we are saying that we peep game, right? We know what's really going on. Just because these people are black does not mean that they are with us. They are not. Just because these corporations have DEI statements on their website, we know that their ultimate aim is to continue to exploit us. Tell us why they have $60 million for Cop City and not $60 million to pay their workers. Tell us why the city has $30 million for Cop City, but no money for affordable housing for the people. $500,000 for housing for cops, no money for the people. So we are here in solidarity together today to make it clear to the mayor that he's not going to keep lying on our names, to make it clear to these corporations that they're not going to continue to exploit us, to make it clear to both of them that that alliance that they set up in the 60s is going to fail. Because we as a people, we're stronger than that. We're stronger than any money and resources they could put together. And so I want to appreciate y'all for coming out here today. We're going to hear from a lot of really dope people that are going to keep the energy up. And so what I want us to do collectively is to get into some chants right before we get started. So when I say stop Cop City, I want y'all to say shut it down. All right? Stop Cop City! Shut it down! 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 No justice! No peace! 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 All right, y'all. First up, we're going to hear from Tortuguita's mother.
Hello, my name is Belkis Teran. It's a very big pleasure to meet all of you, to be in this moment and to tell you that Tortuguita is alive. It's alive in our heart. It's alive in somewhere else, because I believe in eternal life. And we have to continue his legacy. He was giving food to the poor. His friends, his most dear friends, were people on the street. That every day he was giving food. And I have witness. I have witness that he was doing that. So we have to continue his legacy. We have to make him a hero. He's not a delinquency. He's not a bad person.
That's right.
He was a good person. He has a great heart. And he was giving food to people, working for the community. For him, people has a light inside, no matter the skin.
That's right.
Because we have light inside of us. And we have to believe. We have to believe, and we have to heal our wounds. We have to heal all that those bad people, not only the cops, many other people that are bad, now we have to heal. Because this land doesn't belong to a small group. This land belongs to everybody. And has a legacy. Okay? We have talking about the Muskogee, that they have legacy for years. And we have to claim for them. The blood of my son has to speak, because that's my prayer. My prayer is that the blood of my son will speak in all our hearts. Okay? We are going to win. Because we are in a good path. Love, caring. We are not talking about money or enrichment. We are talking about decency. Decency for poor people that are on the street sleeping on the floor. Okay? It's not that embarrassing when you go to downtown and you see all those bodies sleeping on the street. That is the tourism that they want to give? No, we need to feed those people, give a job, a decent job, give attention. Some of them, they cannot work. And that's what we have, that we can work, can give them. We are a community, and our community is international. International. The forest defenders are international. The ambientalists are international. Afro-descendants are international. We have to continue the legacy of love, attention, taking care of people. Taking care of people. We need to heal ourselves. We need to work for ourselves first. Okay, here, now, working together, putting ourselves together in our private room, praying to God, or praying whatever you like to pray. Yeah, because now it's so many things, and I believe in that. Everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe. So, praise yourself and work together for the community. Work together for the community. All the forest defenders, I call them to come here to support us. All the people from different religions come here and help us. This is a matter of the earth. We're talking about the earth that is dying. The earth needs our love. The earth needs our attention. And we have conscience. We know that this is not right. And when we know that it's not right, we have to do what is right. We have to work together. Give us support together. And continue in this community conscientization. Community conscientization. All of us, we need to be together in one step, going further. Don't go by yourself. When we go to activities, stay together. Don't go outside by yourself. We need to make understand that this is the right thing to do. We are the correct people. We are right because we are driving by love, by caring, by concern. And we love all those. I love you. And I know that you love me. I love you. You love me. We love each other. This is a matter of love, caring. We have to stick together.
Everybody give another hand for Ms. Belcalis. Right. Viva, viva Tortuguita! Viva, viva Tortuguita! Viva, viva Tortuguita! Viva, viva Tortuguita! All right, I know we're out here all because we are committed to seeing this struggle through to the end. And I can't help but notice that as we stand here on these grounds, the Martin Luther King Center, Andre Dickens, Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, all of them are spitting on the grave of Martin Luther King. Every day, they pretend like this is the seat of civil rights, but they are not passing forward that legacy. They are standing against the fulfillment of the civil rights revolution. That's why Martin Luther King was killed, because he was connecting the fact that racism was connected to poverty and war. A year to the day of his anti-war in Vietnam speech, he was murdered. He was on strike with the workers in Memphis, the black workers in Memphis, demanding that they got their piece of the pie. And so, this struggle here against Cop City, as people have already spoken to, is connected to every struggle that we have, every struggle all across the country. Because those coordinated forces that donate money to create this side of urban warfare are the same coordinated forces that just pushed through a law criminalizing trans health care for minors this week. Disgusting. And it's happening all over the country. There are hundreds of bills being passed right now. And that's because the Andre Dickens of the world, all of those who say that they're for us and they take our money and they take all the time on the airwaves telling us to vote for them, they don't do anything to stand against our murder, our genocide. That's right. And so, right now, the ruling class understands that they're losing the war. They know all of us want freedom for our people. And so they're doing these worse and worse tactics in order to repress us. They know that the dozens of our comrades arrested weren't doing any domestic terrorism. They know that. That's right. They know that Tortuguita didn't deserve to die. They know that they were wrong. That's right. But what they're doing is making sure that the masses of people are confused and scared so they don't come into the streets. They're making sure that they can call this movement a terroristic, small, weird movement. And they do the same thing all over the world. Whenever we hear that a leader in Latin America or Africa wants to nationalize their resources, wants to kick the U.S. out, all of a sudden they're a dictator. So the same process is going on of demonization so that they can continue with their profits. They want to be able to kill us here. They want to donate our money, our rental assistance back to the federal government. They want to expand NATO. They want to spend billions of our dollars all over there in Ukraine where they hate black people, and we can't get any housing here, we can't get any health care here, we can't have education here. That's right. So in the city of Atlanta, they use it as a test case. They know that this supposedly the Black Mecca, the capital of the South, is a spot where they have to sharpen their tools of confusing our people. And so this week of action was extremely necessary, and I'm so glad to see all of you here from Atlanta and from all around. We are fighting the good fight. We are doing the Lord's work. We are doing the work of all of our martyrs, of Tortuguita, of MLK, of Malcolm X, of Fred Hampton. We are doing that work and building a rainbow coalition organized against capitalism, this disgusting genocidal system that makes it so that black people have to be at the bottom of this pile. It makes it so that maybe slavery is ended, but that we work in service jobs where we make no money, where migrant workers are killed and suffering all the time. This system cannot exist without the pigs. This system couldn't stand if they didn't have shock troops to destroy union organizing, housing organizing, all of our organizing. That's right. But beyond this week of action, we have to get into that real work of organizing. We can't just mobilize here. We have to make it so that those who saw the news this week and are a bit confused, don't know how to get into the movement, know somebody personally that they trust that they can get into struggle with. So in our workplaces, in our communities, in our housing, our apartments, We have to tell people that the same reason why you can't pay your rent is the same reason why they're creating a cop city. And so, I want everybody here, if it's a tenant organization, if it's a working organization, join an organization. Get part of something where you are engaged in struggle over time, because this is never going to stop unless we stop it. It's never going back to normal again. We're still in the pandemic. There's fascists organizing, fascist militias building up power, getting into state legislatures, passing these anti-trans, anti-gay bills. We don't have the right to abortion. This is a 5-alarm fire right now. And it's all culminating right here, and I know all of our efforts have to culminate in order for us to fight it.
That's right.
They may have the money, but we have the people power. And so, we organize, ready to overturn this system, ready to send Andre Dickens back to the dustbin of history. We will win. Thank you. Join the organization. Come speak to any of us.
The dustbin of history. We love that. All right, next up we have Cliff from BBM.
What's going on, y'all? Stop Cop City, shut it down. Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! What's up, y'all? I'm from Black Voters Matter, and I'm gonna talk a little bit. Thank you. I'm gonna talk a little bit about voting, right? But before I do that, I just want to explain something, because sometimes people get confused, they get it twisted. They say, oh, y'all are Black Voters Matter. All y'all do is talk about voting. Be clear, we understand that the way that we get to liberation is not going to come just through a vote. That's never been how it's worked for our people in this country. Sister Harriet didn't get a chance to vote for liberation. She didn't get a chance to vote to take our people off the plantation, right? So we are very clear that what we have got to be. In fact, we just commemorated the anniversary of Selma and the March to Montgomery, but be clear, the people of Selma didn't vote for a Voting Rights Act. They had to fight for it. They had to march for it. In some cases, they bled for it. They had to resist for it. They had to take to the streets for it. It's in their tradition that we are out here today. So yes, I believe in the power of the vote, but I also believe in the power of mass action. And that's why we out here today. So I'm gonna say a little word while I'm on it. I'm gonna say a little word about voting, because at the end of the day, we gotta send a message to Andre Dickens, right? We gotta send him a message. And that message is that you can't continue to ignore the voices of the people, the voices of this city, and expect to remain in office. You can't continue to answer more to that corporate greed and those corporate interests than you answer to the people of Atlanta. And I'm going to say just a brief word about those corporate interests, because we got to be clear while we're talking about this intersection. The same corporations that are funding Cop City are the same ones that are funding the voter suppression.
That's right.
The same ones. We did a whole campaign a couple years ago when Georgia did that voter suppression bill, and we called out Home Depot and Coca-Cola and Delta and many of the other corporations that give money to the people that are taking away our rights to vote. That's corporate greed. Because what we know is that you can't have an agenda for the people if you don't have a government that reflects the people. Right? That's why they try to control that electoral process, because they want to control that agenda. And then if you don't have a government that reflects the people, then what do you need? You need a police force to enforce the fact that you don't have a government that reflects the people. So there's an intersection between these issues that we're talking about in terms of voting and this police violence. So we've got to come together, because we got the answer, y'all. It ain't rocket science, because we got the power. Somebody say power. And so what we have seen going back almost a decade, when we look at Ferguson, right? And people say, oh, y'all are marching the street, y'all are burning stuff down, you don't have any agenda. But eventually, that protest and that pain was turned into power as they started to change the city of Ferguson, as they started to change St. Louis, as they put a mayor in place that understood that what our people want isn't more police, what we want is safety. And so the people came together and made that happen in St. Louis. The people in Memphis right now are coming together and turning that pain and that protest into power. Right here in this state, many of y'all know about our friends down there in Brunswick, where Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. And after that pain and DA, the first DA, some of y'all know the story, the first DA in Brunswick and Glenn County who tried to bury the murder was up for election later on that year. And the people of Brunswick and Glenn County came together and said, you know what, DA? You about to lose your job. And so they organized themselves, and when that election came around, guess what? She lost her job, right? And so our message for Mayor Dickens, our message for the city council is that if you don't respond to the people, you about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Because we've got that power. We've got the power to make that happen. And so the last thing I'm going to say, right, as we talk about this power, is to also talk about it. It's fitting that we're out here at the King Center, because King talked about this issue. He talked about the combination of these two things, love and power, right? And what he said is that power without love is reckless and abusive. And we know what reckless and abusive looks like, right? It's the enslavement of people, it's the theft of land from one group of people and the enslavement of another group of people. That's reckless and abusive. We know reckless and abusive, right? It's the murder of Tortuguita, right? And the murder of so many of our other brothers and sisters. We know what reckless and abusive power looks like. But what King said is this, that love without power is sentimental and anemic. We don't need a sentimental and anemic kind of love. We need the kind of love, we need that agape kind of love. We need that kind of love that Tortuguita's mother, thank you so much, sister, that she talked about. Love for each other, love for our community, love for freedom, love for health care, love for the LGBT community, love for women to control their bodies. That's the kind of love that we need. The kind of love that is merged with power, and we have that. So we can get everything we want for this city. We can stop Cot City. We've got the power, but we just got to believe, y'all. We got to believe in our power. Because the last thing I'm going to say is this. There's going to be a lot of people telling us about what we can't do. About what these organizers out here can't do. They always want to tell us about what we can't do. But I'm here to tell you, all of us out here, we're organizers. And as organizers, we are in the business of taking that which other people say is impossible, and we make it possible. That's what we do. We got that power. As long as we believe. So I just need you to say real loud, say I. Say I believe. Say I believe that we will win. Say I believe that we will win. Thank y'all.
Thank you. I just want to call attention to this sign that we have in front. Andre Dickens is a sellout, right? Trying to sell our city to the police. And I want to draw attention to this sign because some of the first people recently to make that claim, to let it be known that he's a sellout, were our AUC students. That's right. And from what I heard, Andre Dickens shed a tear or two over that. It showed him that the people that he thought were confused, the people he thought that were scared, weren't too scared to call him out. So with that, I'm excited to bring some more House students up.
I want to highlight Atlanta students because Morehouse did bring attention to the issue, but this was a culmination of Clark Atlanta University House College, who all got together and recognized that this is not something that needs to be built in our city. I don't know what I can and can't do, but no justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Okay. I'm Daxton Pettis. I am a student at Morehouse College. I'm a resident of DeKalb County. I have family in both DeKalb and in Fulton County. And I'm a resident, but this is an issue that's bigger than just the city. It's bigger than just the state. This is an issue that spans between environmental issues and human rights. We have consistently seen and see today the blatant ignorance of our history and attempts to erase it. The history of police brutality, mass incarceration, and abuse of our people through the law in many forms. Today is no different. Black people are incarcerated at higher rates than white people, and they make up a fraction of the nation. and new laws attacking our trans community, anti-trans laws, resemble the legal rhetoric that led to the segregation and mass sanction of murder of black people in our past history. Since the day that we watched when America watched the brutalization of Rodney King on national television, nothing has changed. We have attempted to reform our police force, add de-escalation training, add civil rights history training, and give more money to our police. But we continue to see black bodies across social media platforms, television, and other media platforms being displayed, being murdered. The victims have received no justice. And when we say no justice, what do we say? No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Our people are being pushed out of their cities and murdered. We cannot allow for this cycle to continue. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Kane King.
Go to the right just a little. Yep, this way. So much.
My name is Kane King. I am a graduating senior at Spelman College, and today, as we stand here on this historic land, we do not ask what we can do for our country, but what our country can do for us. The building of the Atlanta Public Training Center is an insult and an act of the utmost disrespect from our city leaders. It is no coincidence that they are planning to have this cop city on indigenous land that was turned into a prison farm. The institution that was created to re-enslave and criminalize black people is attempting to have the entire city built on the bones of their suffering. These are no accidents, and these are not actions that can be subdued with fragile apologies or a band-aid. As humans, we have a duty to fight for the change that we seek. As an active member of this community, I refuse to sit by and be idle and just let things happen. So, to Mayor Andre Dickens, please remember that a tree falls the way that it leans, so be careful where you lean. Mayor Dickens, please know that students across Atlanta will never forget the way that you talked to us in a condescending tone and lied to our faces on February 7th. We will continue to do everything in our power to hold you and your counterparts accountable for your aid to the continued militarization of policing, especially in one of the blackest cities of America. This is not just an Atlanta issue. This is not just a Georgia issue or a United States issue, but this is an international issue, and the world is looking to us for a response to this violation of human and environmental rights. So now I will leave you with a few words. God hears my tears because I can no longer pray. I try to get the words out, but I suffocate thinking of my pain. I began to choke. I can't breathe. The air being restricted from my lungs is like when my favorite aunt hugs me for a little too long. It's like a knee is being shoved into the back of my throat, threatening that if I keep trying to speak, it'll only make it harder for God to understand me. And that if I am not afraid of him, he will give me a reason to be. So I lay still and I watch. I watch as some play with toys, some go for a jog, some walk home, some simply exist in their own skin, ignorant to the reality that we all end up the same way, crying out to God because the blood that suffocated them was far too thick for them to explain what they were trying to say. I was asked what it feels like to be a black person in America. I said it feels like Halloween, Columbus Day, and Easter. Everyone wears our blackness as if we were costumes. Our plump lips, kinky hair, and round hips are beautiful on everyone except us. We are a strange fruit whose skin is constantly being tasted and discarded. Our insides are far too bitter for their liking, so they take what they like. We have too much pride and not enough nigger for them. They want to use our body to dress like us until it's time to walk a mile in our shoes. Or until it's them whose clothes are being outlined in white chalk. I guess it's true what they say. They want our rhythm but don't want our blues, but I have to live in this skin and wear it every day, and no matter how hard I scrub, I can't seem to quite wash it away. My shadow is my twin sister who never leaves my side because we're one and the same, and we're too black to be invisible. We are constantly having our identity stripped away from us and being told that it's for our own good, that assimilation is what we need to succeed in life. Then the teacher is turned into the terrorist but wants to be called Jesus. A savior who saved us from nothing, who destroyed everything and told us to say thank you for it. Because without him, we would be free, like him, an equal, a human, made in the image of God and not a reflection of himself. God's children celebrate life and liberty found within him, but they are selfish. They want life and liberty for themselves. They have done nothing to earn it, but we must slave for over 400 years to be considered the thought. I'm tired. Dying and coming back to life is tiring. How many times must we be crucified and resurrected for you to understand that you will not win? That's right. And that we will keep working and we will keep fighting because you still don't understand that my blackness is not a feature that you can steal and worship, but it's a struggle. You have to live in it. You have to earn it. You cannot have my blackness. And as the concrete tastes my final breath, I enter an eternal family reunion. My father's name is Rodney King. My son's name is Emmett Till. My brother's name is Trayvon Martin. My uncle's name is Eric Garner. My little cousin's name is Tamir Rice. My mother's name is Sandra Bland. My sister's name is Renisha McBride. My aunt's name is Ayanna Jones. Michael Brown is my neighbor. Tyree Nichols is my homeboy. Breonna Taylor is my best friend. And I saw Ahmaud Arbery jogging down the street the other day. If God can hear my cry, why can't America? I too sing America, but you don't want to hear me.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Loman. I'm a senior at Morehouse College. I am here before you as a human being. A human being since 2013 have witnessed various crimes against African Americans. A human being that is constantly scared for his life because what might happen if he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. A human being who is tired of seeing young black men and women continually being gunned down by those who are assigned to protect everyone regardless of race, ethnicity, and gender. Ever since the tragic death of Trayvon Martin, we have continued to see the police abuse their power and gun down innocent black men and women. This is despite the fact that they were in their own home, they were jogging down the street, they were taking a nap in their car, and when they were crying out for their own mother. How can we trust the police when they keep on using lethal force to quote-unquote protect society? How can we trust the police when they use military-based equipment to dish out so-called social protection? How can we trust the police when a facility made specifically for them is being built right in the heart of Atlanta? We cannot trust them when they have shown time and time that our lives, our black lives, don't matter. Mr. Mayor, we need to talk. We need to discuss the negligence and hypocrisy that you have shown us during your term. The only, and I repeat, only good thing that you have done is preventing a predominantly white community, also known as Buckhead, from splitting off from the city of Atlanta, thus costing millions of dollars from the black community, and that is your only good thing. Yes. When the Atlanta City Council agreed to build this so-called training facility, you allowed it to go forward. When you were invited to a discussion panel at my soon-to-be alma mater, you dogged us down, you ignored our complaints, you actively used us to promote the construction of this facility. Instead of helping us, you have ignored our cries for help. When it comes to the West End and Vine City, you ignored the obvious problem of gun violence, disrepair, and homelessness that has plagued those two cities for years. Instead of redistributing funds to help out the residents living in those communities, you continuously keep putting resources to Cop City. That is not what a mayor should focus on. A mayor should focus on helping the community, not endangering it. A mayor should provide the homeless the services that will help them, not increase their numbers. Finally, a mayor should protect a community of young black individuals seeking an education. Speaking of protection and education, when I'm at school, I should feel protected. I would feel protected from outside forces that would seek to do me and my fellow classmates harm. However, during my entire 4 years, I have never once felt safe. When I take the train to go home on the weekends, I'm never safe. When I use to go to the store to pick up items I need, I'm never safe. A school's primary job is to teach us and to keep us safe. Yet in all my years, there have been shootings and deaths surrounding a place that I call home. There have been instances where people freely walked into dormitories and either took valuables or in one instance, watched someone sleep in their own rooms. That should not be in anyone's home whatsoever. And yet the leaders at these institutions are more concerned about the destruction of Cop City than their own students. They should be more concerned about their public image. They are more concerned about their public image than their own students. They are more concerned about stealing every nickel and dime away from already struggling students instead of helping them financially. Instead of focusing on that public image, maybe focus on making sure your own security is actually doing its job. Instead of focusing on that public image, maybe focus on making sure that students are able to attend classes worry-free. Instead of focusing on that public image, maybe focus on distancing yourself from a clear environmental and social hazard. My final point will be about the city of Atlanta itself. This city has been my home ever since I was born. I have been to various events here, I have seen the sights, and I've lived through some of the most important events right here in this city. This is my home, this is your home, this is our home, this is a home of black excellence. This is the home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is the home of John Lewis. This is the home of Joseph Evelyn and Joseph E. Lowery. This is the home of civil rights. This is the home of C.T. Vivian. This is the home of great blackness itself. This is the home of every single black person here in America. This city, this house, this place of black excellence says no to Cop City.
That's right. No to Cop City. Stop Cop City! 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 All right, I hope y'all are still feeling the energy. Perfect. I'm excited to bring up M. Shahidi from MXGM.
Free the land, family, free the land! Free the land! Free the land! By any means necessary. My name is M. Shahidi Sianda. I am a member of the Malcolm X grassroots movement, and I came here to tell you today that we stand in solidarity with the whole of Atlanta to say, stop Cop City! Say it with me, stop Cop City! Now, a lot of what I wanted to say has already been said. Cliff, Jordan, Morehouse, Spelman. But I'm not going to repeat all of those things. What I will tell you is that I, too, am born and raised Atlanta. Grady, baby. Zone 6, Kirkwood, to be exact. Right? And so, some of you moved here. Some of you live here. Some of you were born here. I hold this close to my heart because my auntie lived in that building right there before it was gentrified. I grew up in Kirkwood before it was gentrified. I went to school in Edgewood before it was gentrified. So what I do know is that Andre Dickens can't save you. Keisha Lance Bottoms couldn't save you. Kasim Reed couldn't save you. Mayor Jackson couldn't save you. We are here to save ourselves. We must save ourselves. Now, when I went to the website, right, of the Atlanta Police Foundation, I saw the word safety being thrown around. Safety, we're building this for safety. We're doing means necessary. There is an African proverb that says if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Are y'all going together with me? Now, we know that the police, they think they're gangster, but we gangster too, right? They think they big and bad and organized, but we big and bad and organized too. And because we know COINTELPRO is real, look to your left, look to your right. It might be a pig amongst you. Don't get it twisted. Look, we know that people sit in their rooms claiming to be powerful. And some of us say, we use this language all the time. We always say, you know, Home Depot, Bank of America, Chick-fil-A, all of them are the powers that be. I want to challenge you to shift your language because we are the powers that be. We are the power that be. We are the power that be. The power is within the people. So we agitate, we educate, we organize, we get our shit together, we take to the street, and we will stop Cop City. Let me see you hold up a black power fist, and everybody repeat after me, say free the land! Free the land! Free the land! By any means necessary!
Period. Okay. Next up, we have Julian from ESA.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Look, can I rap to y'all real quick? First of all, it's fuck 12 all through the faux. Really good at taking stand, we really going toe to toe. You don't let a city, motherfucker, you sell it. Streets really wins, motherfucker, you jealous. Look, normally I would freestyle, but I actually took some time to write things down today. Okay. Let me pull that up. I really appreciate the energy. Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Wow. Okay, here we go. It's really beautiful to see how the community has come out today at the King Center. Unfortunately, that community also includes the police, but we're working on that. We're working on that. We're gonna get them out of here real quick. My name is Julian Rose. I'm an abolitionist and a black queer feminist. We have a political tendency to put those who are most marginalized at the center of leadership, governance, and care. That's not because they're the only ones who deserve it, but because they're the least likely to get it without intentional intervention. We have many faith leaders here today, and this is one concept that actually cuts across all religions. You'd be hard-pressed to find a text that tells us to neglect those who are most neglected. And in this way, this organizing tradition is deeply connected to my spiritual journey, and I'm sure it's connected to yours too. That spiritual journey has also carried me into the solidarity economy movement. That's right. Yeah, give it up for that, okay. Y'all like, we know these words, okay. To no surprise, the solidarity economy movement emphasizes solidarity. It emphasizes pluralism, many approaches toward a goal. And it emphasizes participatory governance and democracy. And today I'd like to spend a little time talking about this democracy. Now, I know the feds are listening, but I think it's safe to say that I've been to many protests, marches, rallies, sit-ins, and you often hear this chant. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Okay, so y'all have been too. Awesome. And I can't lie, some days I'm not convinced we're ready to chant these words. I do know protest and free speech are key facets of democracy. But to say this is what democracy looks like on these lands? I don't know. Feels like salt in the wound sometimes. This Stop Cop City struggle has been direct evidence that the government of Atlanta knows nothing of democracy. That's right. Andre Dickens was elected in a process that turned out just 21% of regular voters. That's not eligible voters. That's not 21% of people registered to vote. That's 21% of people who vote regularly. So just how much of Atlanta is that? 50,000 people chose Andre Dickens. Yet Mayor Dickens seems emboldened to make unilateral decisions at the instruction of the governor, private interests, to make permanent detrimental changes to Atlanta's landscape that'll ultimately affect millions of people. The audacity, the caucasity. In a state with voter suppression and people disillusioned by the electoral process, you have officials espousing the fact that they're of the people. It's a joke. And I get it, money matters to them, power matters to them. Public comment does not matter to them. Protest does not matter to them. Justice does not matter to them. Our futures do not matter to them. Our history does not matter to them. Democracy does not matter to them. But what's important is that these things matter to us. They matter to us. And so I have come here to ask you all just one question. What are you willing to do to experience democracy for the first time? If we know this place has never seen a democracy, then what are we willing to do to bring it about? It's something I'm grappling with myself. My Afro-pessimist friends and revolutionaries both agree we are at war. The police in the city have said as much loudly with their words and their actions. And to be clear, this is a war that white power structures waged on us long ago. It feels obvious to me that we need warriors, weapons. And I know that that fact may give some of us trepidation. But I want to assure you that we need so much more than soldiers to win this fight. Whatever it is that you do, whatever skill you bring, I just ask that you make it a weapon. Yeah, give it up for that. Give it up for that. If we are ever going to experience democracy, we need your tools to be repurposed in this fight against Cop City. If you're a writer like me, child, that pen better look like a threat to Cop City. If you do mutual aid, caring for community ain't gonna get any easier. Please show us the way. If you're an artist, where my artists at? Okay. Got a lot of them out here. Let every painting reveal the truth, including the joy and freedom that abolition calls us to. Let us make songs that inspire revolution. If you're a healer, get ready. We need you. Much will be lost in this struggle. Let us not forget. If you're a teacher, well, we got a lot to learn about this war we're fighting and how police practice urban warfare. If you're a lawyer, guide us when they say that any fighter is a criminal. If you're a digital organizer, keep your finger on the pulse and tell our stories far and wide. And if you're a community organizer, we need to tend to our relationships, not just use them. We need real solidarity, which goes beyond unity. We need pluralism, making space for many strategies to coexist. And ultimately, we need to practice democracy if we plan to build one.
That's right.
And yes, that includes practicing consent and accountability in both our organizations and our personal lives. See, look, that's something that Andre Dickens knows nothing about. These cops know nothing about it. Consent and consensus come from the same word, and clearly we are not in agreement about the future of black people or Atlanta. Look, I don't need much more time. I see y'all creeping up. But I need to ask again, what are you willing to do to experience democracy for the first time? To taste its peace, to feel its calm winds, we are going to have to build that shit together. And our warriors will only get us there if we too are in this fight. If we too aim our weapons at the powers that seek to destroy the earth and us in the process. Cop City is the police and the establishment preparing for domestic war right here in the city of Atlanta. Any further training of the police is training against our existence. That shit cannot be built.
City will never be built.
It will never be built. We all must fight for the democracy we've never seen before. What are you willing to do? Thank you, y'all.
Now, Julian said we have to build this together, right? Now, this is what togetherness looks like. And I want to bring up Meko Shaban, who's been with us together in this fight. You know, the indigenous folks were here before chattel slavery, right? Before white settlers. And so when we talk about togetherness, it is that alliance between the black struggle, indigenous struggles of all oppressed people that will get us free. So with that,
I come here standing before you just joining the choruses of voices that has already spoken the truth. I'm not even so sure I can add to it effectively, but there are some things that I want to say, and it started out in my language right there, because there's a phrase that we have that I want to make known to everybody who can hear our voices right here. And in our language we say, Estoves, Muskogee Idolwa, Legathathis, is that this is always going to be indigenous land no matter what, right here. Our ancestors, my very ancestors for thousands upon thousands of years are growing in the trees and are in the ground around us. And we have a right to say how society should exist in those homelands. And when we see something like a Cop City attempting to be built, no way is that congruent with the energies of life that brings us all together, whether it's the human species or the animal species or this Earth Mother that has given us everything that we need, including this beautiful rain that has blessed us tonight. There are places in our world that do not even have that luxury. Today, I come here because for many reasons, I am coming for this right here, don't get me wrong. We're coming back for all that was taken from our ancestors. We're coming back for those things because it's not about personal property ownership. It's about being together in community, making sure, just like Tutugia's Blessed Mother Belki said, so that we can love each other and look out for one another. And just maybe come to my home, whether you're carrying these automatic weapons over here, maybe you have to come to my home so I can teach you how. Because when you walk through my door, my grandma said, give them the best that you have. Give them some water to drink. Give them some food to eat. That's a way of life that is founded in love, not raising weapons against those whose only weapons is prayer and spirituality, a way of humbleness and taking care of one another. Those were the values that existed here for over 13,000 years. And so today, I want to say those things, but also, I don't want to take away from all the voices that you've heard tonight. In fact, I want to stand in solidarity between all of our people of color. So let there be no mistake that black folks, indigenous folks are all right here saying we do not want this to happen in our world. We do not want this to take place. Because when we look all throughout this so-called history, there's a reason why they segregated us from each other. There's a reason why they put black folks over here. They put our people on reservations. There's a reason why. Because when we cried for food, they said, quit complaining, it's just you that has a problem. When we cried for decent health care, they said, quit complaining, complaining. It's just you who want something. Now today, when we cry for a good education system, they say, quit complaining. It's just you. No, only to find out when our voices come together, they're treating all of us like that. We have a right to exist here. And today, I want that message to be known. I have good, kind relatives from all over indigenous, we call this Turtle Island, other places who have left their home. Even I have my own babies back home that are wondering, what are you doing, Daddy, in our homelands? I'm sad with what's going on. My baby boy told me that before I came out here. And I said, son, I'm going to try to make sure when we come back, we're going to come back and we're going to dance and sing like our ancestors did again. And my prayer is that we can do that together.
Yes, yes.
And so today, as I come here, all I can say is just that little bit, because I stand here in solidarity with my relatives. I stand here declaring to whoever may listen, even those persons that you may see, but the way that our ancestors taught us is that the difference between us and the spirit world is as thick as a leaf on a tree. That even all of our ancestors are here bearing witness to what we're living and what we're doing today. And even for those who hear the sound of my voice across the street, whoever you may be employed by, are working overtime and wasting money right now. Your ancestors are watching you too. In fact, I'm going to get a little preachy right now. I am a preacher. I'm trying to hold that back. In fact, my elders said that everything that we do now are for those yet to come. That's right. Even some of my relatives from across Turtle Island say 7 generations down we think about the consequences that our actions are taking right at this moment. That's right. Your actions are just right here. Your actions are right here. I'm talking to those people across the street over there. I'm talking to that person who was flying this helicopter up here. Your children that have yet to come on this earth are going to come to you and ask you a question and say, why? Why did you allow that to happen? Why weren't you over here picking up a sign? Why weren't you over here taking and enjoying the company of all that's around us and even remembering our blessed relative Tortuguita? And in fact, their blessed lives should still be here now. And I'm thankful for his mama because he's still here. And so today, I don't want to say any more, but I want to just say I thank you, because my only hope is that we're not in the business of, even though we come here saying land back, we're not in the business of kicking people off things. We're in the business of creating a world where we all have the right to exist. Where we all have a right to self-determination. And even I heard the words from my relatives, from the schools, from everywhere saying we have a same chorus that we cry in our speeches and our language. We all cry to be free. If I want to go to the forest, that's all right. She knows us. If I don't want to be shot while I'm jogging in my own neighborhood, heaven forbid do I have to tell you why. We have a right to exist. And our desire is to be free.
Yes.
Those are going to stay.
Want Cop City. Those are the people whose people are from here. That's right. That's right. We are the people who are from here. That's right. And Kiana, she really from here. Hey.
Yo, my name is Reverend Kiana Jones. I'm a member of the Faith Coalition to Stop Cop City. And I am a daughter of East Atlanta. East Atlanta Village. I currently live in East Atlanta, and when I I say that I'm ATL till I die, I am ATL till I die. And Nico didn't want to get too preachy on you, but I'm going to get preachy for a second. Everybody look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you a bad mama jammer. Let me tell you why you a bad mama jammer. Y'all all bad mama jammers because y'all got 12 on these corners shook like a mug. Y'all bad mama jammers because it was only what, 75 of us jazz on Tuesday? About 75 of us, we had over 200 cops kettling us while we marched and chanted. When you think about the power that people want to exert, I want you to look within yourself because the power is in you. You are the reason that the cops are out here thick as hell. You are the reason that Andre Dickens is running around trying to get support for this bullshit he's trying to do. You are the reason that Cop City is not going to happen. Because we have the power. We have the power of the people. And what I want to say right now is that I don't want you to get tired. I can't say don't get tired because I know that sometimes we do, but don't grow weary in your well-doing. The Bible says don't grow weary in well-doing, for if you faint not in due season, you will reap your just reward. Y'all, we can't faint. When we get tired, we got to hold each other up. We got to make sure that we stand together, that we fight together, that we hold each other up, because if we do, I'm telling you, we will win. These suckers are out here because they are shook. These council members don't know what to do because they are shook when they look at what we can do with just the power of us. It's powerful, the power in you, because the very thing that they wanted to do, which was separate us, is the thing that they will never accomplish. Because the more they try, the more we stick together. When we hold up our fists like this is a representation of us. Because if we stick together just like this, they will never defeat us. They will never build Cop City. They will never take East Atlanta and do what they want to do with it. They will never, ever win. Y'all ready to march? Are y'all ready to march? I got to see. Hold up. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Hey, I think y'all might be ready. So y'all, we are going to get ready to get our march on, because everything that needed to be said tonight has been said. All I want to say is that when I told my granny that everybody wanted to know, who is your granny? She must be powerful. And I said, Granny, all of my people want to know you. And she said, baby, if they your people, they my people too. So I want you to know that y'all got a granny who is rooting for you, who is praying for you, that's holding you up even when you feel like you can't take another step. Me, Granny, and you together, we are going to stop Cop City.
I told y'all Kiana was really from here. All right. So we are going to get started with a march. We just want to make some announcements because the pigs are really out here, y'all. We just want to keep everybody safe. So first I want to say that we have some safety folks out here who are wearing the orange on them, right? So if you need anything, water, etc., just tap in with them. We're trying to keep ourselves visible so we know who's on our side and who is not. So we're going to ask first that everyone kind of wrap around to the left, so my left, where my arm is going.
Sounded good. Hey man, that was awesome, man. Oh, thank you. Fight for housing! Not police! Fight for schools! Not police! Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Stop
Who's going to be our lead banner? Who's supposed to come behind that banner? Everybody who's watching, what's to come behind that?
All right, everybody, let's see right here. What you want to grow, fund our future. Stop Cop City is
Oh, wow. Holy shit, bro. Can I get a picture of you right now?
So, we're going to do this in a bit of an orderly way. We're not trying to give the pigs any more reason than they need, right? So, what the plan is, if we can get folks to line up in a row of 5. So, 5 people. 5 on 5. As best as you can, right? As best as you can.
Obviously, you want rows of 5?
Alright, the 5 are going to start here. 1, 2, can I get a 3, 4, 5? 3, 4. We need one more. We need one more. Number 1? Okay. 5? Yeah. Camille, you got it? Alright, we are a row of 5, so just now we're just going to do 5. Keep going. We'll wait. Rows of 5. As best as we can. As best as we can. Rows of 5. Rows of 5. I'm a row.
Let's go.
Who's holding banner? You're going to be on the side, just like this. Walk on the side.
Yeah, it'll be, yeah. So to help y'all out, we're going to have the big banner kind of hurry y'all in on the side, so you don't want to be outside of the banner, okay?
You need to print your banner though.
Make the 5 go in one direction. Make the 5 go in one direction. Stay together, stay tight. Stay together, stay tight. Don't come here. Don't come here.
To the right. To the right. To the right. Stay on the sidewalk for now. Stay on the sidewalk.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look good back there.
I'm gonna go get one. Yeah.
Not.
It's okay. Come on.
It's good light.
Alright, we're going to stop here. Make sure folks can catch up. Stop here.
Watch the wall. That's the corner here.
Osiris did it! What happened? Release the body cam footage for Osiris did it!
Are you interested in talking about my people right here and all?
We start watching.
Okay, sounds good.
the puddle. That's a dip right here.
Yeah, it's real wet.
Okay, there's a puddle right here at the end of the sidewalk. We're going to stay on the sidewalk for a bit. All right. We're moving. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
Cop City will never be built.
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 The people united will never be defeated. The people united
Will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united
Will never be defeated.
The people united
Will never be defeated.
The people united
Will never be defeated.
The people united
Will never be defeated.
The people united
Will never be defeated.
Stop Cop City. Shut
Cop City.
Stop Cop City. Shut it down. Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City. Shut it down. Stop Cop City. Shut it down. Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
I'm gonna say a couple things. You say shut it down. APF.
Shut it down.
APD.
Shut it down.
Cop City.
Shut it down.
The whole damn system.
Shut it down.
APD.
Shut it down.
APF.
Shut it down.
Cop City.
Shut it down.
The whole damn system.
Shut it down.
What do we want? No Cop City. When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
No Cop City.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
No Cop City.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
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 I said if we don't get it.
Shut it down.
What do we want? No Cop City. When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
No Cop City.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
No Cop City.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it. If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
I said if we don't get it.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City. Shut it down. Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Fuck these racist ass police. I said no justice.
Cop City down. And the narrative has been that it's about it's all the outside folks. It's not about people of color. But you're saying that it is. Going here today at that rally where you had indigenous people and black people standing side by side. You want to talk about what that felt like?
Well, that felt good because they were trying to disprove the narrative that they've been putting out there. And as folks can see, this has been black-led. This has been indigenous-led. People who have been speaking tonight have been from Atlanta, born and raised in Atlanta, who've been living in Atlanta all their life. We have indigenous people who this is their original land. So we're out here saying that this is all about the people in Atlanta leading this, demonstrating, saying that they don't want Cop City. That's what we mean. No Cop City from the people in Atlanta and no Cop City from our allies who come to town to help us out because we always want them to come.
One of
peace. They can organize protests, banner drops. They can organize civil disobedience, direct action. They can do all of that to stop Cop City from happening.
What would you tell people about experience? You know, in my travels, I meet a lot of communities where these sort of projects are being forced on them. They go to meetings for years, 7 years, 10 years, and in the end, they push the project forward. Like, what would you tell those people who are in that process right now?
That you got to continue to fight. Like, part of it is that we got to have a struggle, a left pole, left unity that's strong enough to stop these things from happening. And when we do that, then we really will stop them from happening. Like, we got to continue to fight. Even though we know it's difficult, it is the unity of the people that ultimately will stop these projects. And so that's what we got to keep doing.
Any last words, any last thoughts?
Shut it down.
We don't get it.
Stop Cop City. Stop it now. We need to keep fighting. We're out here fighting. We need more people. This time the march is 500. Next time the march needs to be 1,000. Stop Cop City.
Yeah. Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey. 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 Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey.
Killer cops have got to go.
Hey, hey. Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey.
Andre Dickens got to go. Andre Dickens got to go. Andre Dickens got to go. Andre Dickens got to go.
Black lives are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
If black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do? When the forest is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When the forest is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When the forest is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City.
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 Hey, hey, go home. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, go home. Hey, hey, go home.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey, go home.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey, go home.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey, go home.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey, go home.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey, go home.
Andre Dickens got to go.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
I said if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
I said if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
make some noise. These are our streets, our city, and we will not stand for a cop city here or anywhere. We say no to private funders from APF. We say no to dictatorship of goddamn corporations over our lives. We say that we want a society where we can afford to live in our cities, where we can afford healthcare and housing, where we don't have to worry about being killed on the streets, where all of our money doesn't go around to pigs standing around looking at us. We want our
our money to go to things that feed the people, things that serve the people, instead of having to come out of our pocket and do it ourselves. We should be able to have a society, a government that actually serves us, but we can't have it here with the Andre Dickens of the world, the Brian Kemps of the world, the Joe Bidens of the world. We need a brand new system, one that actually serves the people, one that understands stewardship of the land, understands that the land is not something we destroy for profit. We believe that Cop City represents the worst of this capitalist system, so we need a brand new and a socialist system. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, APS has got to go. Stop Cop City. 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 Full street. Our streets. 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 The people united will never be defeated. 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 I said the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. I said the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Stop Cop City, shut it down. 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 The whole damn system, 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 shut it down. APD, shut it down. APF, shut it down. APD, shut it down. APF, shut it down. Cop City, shut it down. The whole damn system, shut it down. APD, shut it down. APF, shut it down. Cop City, shut it down. The whole damn system, shut it down. Stop Cop City, 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 shut it down. Full streets, our streets. 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Stop Cop City. Shut it down. 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 Stop Cop City. Shut it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. Full street.
Our streets.
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 Full city.
Our city.
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 No cop 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 city.
Full street.
Our streets.
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 Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Andre Dickens got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey.
No
support, stop it. It's 1,000 of y'all on the live. Stop that shit right the fuck now. You smell that shit? Mind your business.
Hey, I want to do an interview.
Okay, what's up?
I want to do an interview. Tell me again for our viewers.
Yeah.
How you feeling tonight?
It's good, man. Tonight's another night in the revolution. We're outside. We're here for the forest defenders. We're also here for TORC, making sure that we show up in solidarity, making sure that we know we're here. I'm aesthetics. Aesthetics couldn't ask to be exact. I've been traveling the country for the past 3 years, and what I've seen tonight is revolutionary. What I've seen tonight is people reviving themselves. This revolution is not over. It's just getting started. And I want people to know, come out, talk to me.
How you feeling about this energy?
It's good. It's loud. I hear the cops shaking in their boots. I know that they want us to sit down, but we gotta stand up, fight back. The time is now. No more 2024. If you won't stand up in 2020, stand up in 2023. Do something today.
Okay, we're gonna run up to the front. There's a lot of people. 2 corners and 3 blocks are being stretched with about 500 people. I think there are 500 people here right now. That was an estimate I heard earlier. It's raining kind of heavy, but it's okay. Hopefully the gear works still. Police have not intervened yet. From what I can tell, there's been no official incident yet. Is this the police union building we're going to?
Yeah, the Atlanta Police Foundation building.
Okay, so this is the Atlanta Police Foundation building, and this building is
It's basically home to the higher level police executives. They host soirees every year where they basically court corporate interests.
And this is where the union is. This is where like everything happens.
Yes, yes.
Okay, interesting.
Just seeing if I can help you. Stand together, everybody.
We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Oh, actually, I gotta get a shot of the beret. He came out clean in the rain.
Oh yeah, that beret's tight. Oh yeah, oh gosh.
Straight from the west side of Oakland, 50th anniversary.
Hold on. Bless, thank you. We are near the Police Foundation building. I'm gonna go to the outside here and see if I can get a shot. Everybody knows who Tortuguita is. In case you don't, Tortuguita was shot in a hammock resting in the area known as Cop City. Body cam footage has never been released from Georgia police. State police shot him. We haven't seen any body cam footage from that though. Cop City. Okay, we're approaching, I believe it's the building that houses the police foundation.
fucking pussy. Look at you with your fucking M16. Fucking pussy. Right on, right on, right on.
As we gather here, we see that these pigs have been prepared to protect the property of the Atlanta Police Foundation. We see that all taxpayer dollars are being
Why would he be arresting you, first of all?
You tell me.
I don't know. If he's arresting you illegally, he will not do that. I will not allow it.
Oh my God, you're not serious. You're not serious. I know.
There's several organizations, several ways in which people are talking about transformation and intervention. The police can't do that. You're going to have to strip it. For everyone else to understand a little bit, but you signed up for an institution that is meant to kill us. So I don't know how you study it. Give me the answer. I'm going to tell you right now, you got to do some good education. You know, I'm on the sun.
God bless you. God bless you.
You can do it, though. You want to help.
Okay, so how does it change just by saying it?
Listen, black capitalism will never save black people. We do it through revolution. Organize. Join us. Who said this was the civil rights act? Right? That was a combination of protests and resistance along with lawmaking. Right? It was the police running you that movement. That's what y'all are doing right now. The only thing that has ever affected change is resistance, and you know that.
Correct.
So what are you doing?
So what you guys are trying to change right now? What you guys are trying to change?
This argument is so stupid. It's like you don't
I want you guys to be aware that the purpose of the police academy is not just to make more police more violent, right? The only way to affect change is you have to train.
They've been training cops for decades.
Are you guys aware?
They've been training cops for decades.
Are you guys aware of the Citizen Police Academy? Okay. I can't continue to advocate for things like that to get people in our culture, in our neighborhoods.
But it's not enough. It's not enough.
Well, the city is, yes, but it takes time, it takes money.
Exactly, more money. More money. It's always more money. It's always more money.
What you guys don't see behind closed doors is still happening. Trust me. Come in and talk.
My thing is, why do you think that when we say fuck off, we're talking about it's bigger than you? It's bigger than you. It's a system. Why can I talk to you? You know that people are dying.
Talk to everybody.
The sheriff badge really comes from slave control.
Correct.
My thing is, all your ancestors are watching you doing this. Why do you say to your ancestors,
So here's the thing. In our communities, I can show you what I follow for a digital ladder. In 1955, they wanted shooting? Yeah. Okay. We are the ones. And I appreciate it. Waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Nothing. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
on the byline.
Excuse me. You cannot sit here and say that you represent us when you vote against our interests time and time again. You cannot sit and say you represent us when you approve shit that we were supposed to vote for and we don't vote for it.
That's right.
And now I want to speak to the people who are watching from the outside. You might want to ask yourself, why should I care about Cop City? But know this, if it happens here, it'll happen where you live. What's to say they don't build it in Oakland, Miami, Houston, Memphis, New York? They already planning on building 5 facilities like this in the city of New York throughout the bureaus. So what's to say if it happens here, it doesn't happen to you? Atlanta residents do not approve this. We will not approve this. We don't approve it here in our city. We don't approve it in Buckhead. We don't approve it anywhere. We don't compromise on this. This is not something we're compromising on. We will be in the streets. We will be in the forest. We will be in the city council halls until you listen to us, until you hear that we are not stopping. We will harass you until kingdom come if we have to. I don't care. I have time. I have all the time. And then I want to end on this note. Black children matter. Black women matter. Black men matter. Black lives matter. And we will continue to fight for them. We will continue. Also, justice for Tortuguita. Viva, viva. Viva, viva.
Justice for Jarvis Cook.
As Talia said, no Cop City anywhere. So when I say no Cop City, I want y'all to say anywhere. No Cop City. 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 Anywhere. All right, thanks y'all. Thanks y'all. Next up, we're gonna have some more speakers from the AUC.
First things first, I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. Let the record state we can hear your police chatter and we know you have police with riot shields behind those wooden planks. It appears as though in addition to frivolous and dangerous applications of terms like domestic terrorist,
It's because you're cupping the mic.
my fault. Like domestic terrorist, this city is also potentially interested in labeling the people's various organizations as, quote, criminal organizations. Which is very interesting because at no point tonight did I see these hundreds of people around me and think that they were engaged in any form of criminal activity.
Come on now.
In fact, I only see a critically thinking population that is engaged in First Amendment protected activity. Let the record show that whenever protest and critical thinking becomes a crime, it is not the people who are criminals, it is the system. And when we look back through history, whether we're looking at Japan in the 60s, the Black South in the 50s, or Tiananmen Square in China in the 80s, we know that criminal systems always fear when their students join with their communities in recognizing the criminality of the system. That's why they're so scared.
That's right.
But of course, we must be fair, so before we rush to conclusions, I want to conduct a little poll. So please, when I ask yes or no, I would like you guys to reply yes or no. On the question of terrorism, the Oxford definition is someone who commits or threatens violence to further a political goal. This is too broad and it is an utterly useless definition. It includes Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, the Panthers, even MLK and JFK. Question number one, do we consider Nelson, Martin, Malcolm, Jack, and to be terrorists? No. Do people occupying a previously unoccupied corner of a forest sound like terrorists to you?
No!
A more
more useful and modern definition would be an individual or group that engages in the purposeful and knowing murder of civilians and non-combatants to sow terror and seed control. Do concerned citizens looking to secure peace and freedom in their communities sound like terrorists to you? No! Okay. But does an individual cloaked in power, privileged by legal protection, who unjustly and violently executes civilians without a trial, who runs around in your community spreading death and fear, does this person sound like a terrorist to you? Fascinating. Does a grassroots network of various factions of concerned citizens fighting bravely in the war on injustice sound like a criminal organization to you? Does it sound like a terrorist organization to you? Well, how about an organization of heavily armed street soldiers known not only for internal gang activity, but for corruption? An organization that derives its power from physical, violent force. An organization that thinks itself above the law. An organization with a strict no snitching policy. Does this sound like a criminal organization to you? Yes! Fascinating. But of course, an organization that is perceived to be a criminal organization is not always known to contain entirely criminals. We don't believe in guilt by association. Unlike some parts of this government, we know that gang membership or affiliation, let alone affiliation with a record label, does not automatically make one a criminal. So I want to address something to the supposedly good cops, but specifically to roughly 58% of the APD. To the brother officers. Do you, black brother officer, really think that training will be enough? Deep down in your heart of hearts, do you really think that more money, more guns, and more officers will solve community issues? You are aware that they mean to teach you how to suppress free protests and demonstrations. That they seek to employ through you, brother officer, urban warfare tactics, urban warfare tactical training, like the tactics used in Iraq, like the tactics that were used in Afghanistan, like the tactics currently used in Palestine, war on terror tactics used in all these places, and urban warfare tactics like those, and I hate to say this, brother officer, or should I say blood, or should I say black GI, but the tactics that were used and developed in Vietnam. Brother officer, black GI, can't you see that police militarization is a threat to your own people? Did you forget what they do to activists like Fred Hampton, or to civilians like Breonna Taylor? Did you forget about the Red Dogs? Did you forget about the Scorpions? The Scorpions from Memphis, the same Memphis PD that had a hand in killing Dr. King, I might add. Brother officer, black GI, you think yourself the sole deterrent of chaos, the so-called last line of defense. Brother officer, you think yourself the thin blue line. Do you remember what that even means? There was a time, black men, where the thin blue line considered itself the last line of defense against you. And much of that thin blue line still does to this very day. They protected some citizens against the jungle. That's what they called it, the jungle. Holding back the so-called monkeys, just like you and me. They feed you their propaganda and turned you not only against your own people, against Africans, but against the entire multiracial working class. Black GI, black street soldier. Do you really want to know where the term thin blue line comes from? Should we tell them? Should we tell them where this comes from? Well, it appears the people have spoken yet again. Brother officer, black street soldiers of the Atlanta Police Department and all police departments. The first American police force to begin adopting this brainwashing propagandistic rhetoric about a so-called thin blue line was the early New York Police Department. The bought and sold by the corrupt and racist Italian mafia for decades, New York Police Department. The descended from slave catchers who hunted Frederick Douglass like a dog, New York Police Department. The lying, spying, wiretapping, currently being sued for the assassination of Malcolm X, New York Police Department. The stop and frisk Central Park jogger case, New York Police Department. But this is only the American origin of the term. Where did these pigs in New York draw inspiration from? We say it is no accident they want you using war on terror tactics against us, because we are fighting imperialism not just here at home but also abroad. The people in the NYPD who coined the phrase thin blue line took clear and deliberate inspiration from violent colonizers.
Come on now, come on.
From a thin red line. Anyone who remembers what your first grade teacher told you about red coats should know exactly which brutal colonizers I'm talking about when I refer to a thin red line. The British. These are the battle cries and racist dogma of genocidal military forces that sought to enshrine white supremacist domination across the entire world, including in Africa, including in our homes. Keeping back the jungle, destroying those of us they called criminals and savages, and occasionally terrorists. Brother officer, anytime you begin to move and think in racist rhetoric that took inspiration from even worse racist rhetoric, you are confused. And clearly someone wants you to be confused. Black GI, I'm urging you, lay down your arms, your bullets, your mace, your tear gas. I came here unarmed. Can you say the same? When I step off this microphone, I have no intention of causing violence. Can you say the same? We the people are not your enemy, Black GI. And the people down the street at City Hall don't have to be either. So, for my final remarks, to the black political elite class of the city of Atlanta, a short and simple message. First and foremost, cancel the lease, make the forest a public park, do your civil rights history training somewhere else, do urban warfare training nowhere, free all political prisoners, and start spending more money on the community than on guns and tanks and fake cities you could run around in. Secondly, black politicians and leaders of Atlanta, recognize your position. Many of you think yourselves a credit to the race, merely by your station. You forget that for you to even occupy those halls, people had to fight, march, bleed, and die. Since the masses had to suffer for you to have your nice clothes in your nice corner office, advancement is not you in that office. Black faces in high places is not progress. Advancement only comes when the material conditions of the masses are lifted. Stop demolishing projects, stop projecting rent control, start building free housing and affordable housing, and stand with the people who fought, died, bled, and voted for you against corporate interests. If you sell out the city to investors and capitalists, you will erode the ground of power upon which you yourselves stand. It will not stop where it is now, a currently gentrified city that for the first time in decades is no longer majority black. But it will end in you eliminating the very electorate you rely upon for your power. To both the brother officers and the black political class, and then I will step down. Have you truly analyzed your place in history? Clearly not, since you stand united in neglect for the needs of your people and your insane obsession with locking up your own. And I do mean that when I say insane. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It has been 50 years since the war on black America, the war on drugs was started. Why do you stand united in this policing paradigm, knowing it creates creates mass incarceration, knowing it hurts your predominantly working class people, knowing it disproportionately, that in our disproportionately dark prisons, slavery is still in practice.
That's right.
When a political class of people sends out soldiers that descend from slave catchers to send people to slave prison camps, and those people are black, you know what you call them? Black slavers. And there's nothing lower than a black slaver. Cross the line, do the right thing, and stop Cop City.
Stop Cop City! 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 No. All right, so we just got a few more people to speak. Next up, I want to hear from Sayu and Destiny.
Times are recording. Some of them don't. I'm parked back in Kingston. I don't know if you go back and see my car's been towed.
Okay, we're gonna start with the chant. So this might not be one that y'all don't know, but y'all gonna know it now. So it goes like from the west side, from the west coast to the south, to the south. Cop City, we want you out. Cop City, we want you out. I said from the west coast to the south, to the south. Cop City, we want you out. I can't hear you. From the west coast to the south, to the south. Cop City, we want you out. Cop City, we want you out.
Hey y'all, thank y'all for being here. Real quick, I'm here representing the Black Coalition. I'm gonna need every black person here to take out their cell phone real quick and open up Instagram. Thank you. So who is the Black Coalition? The Black Coalition is a coalition of black organizers, organizations, community members, and people, residents living in and out of Atlanta who are opposed to Cop City. Our Instagram and the person holding down the work, or the organization holding down the work, is In Defense of Black Lives Atlanta. That's at IDBL Atlanta on social media. IDBL Atlanta, In Defense of Black Lives. Plug in. If you want to help, you want to organize with more black people, get with us. In Defense of Black Lives Atlanta. Thank y'all. Okay. Next, I want to be real clear about what Cop City is, because I'm sure people here are supposed to know, but so many lies and disinformation. I'm gonna get real clear about it. Cop City is the Atlanta Police's plan to tear down 400 acres of forest on the south side in the middle of a black community to build a militaristic training facility that is going to cost our city $85 million.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
At all. The Black Coalition demands of Atlanta, first and foremost, that there be no Cop City, not in the forest, not in a black neighborhood, not anywhere in Atlanta, not anywhere in Georgia, not anywhere near us, not anywhere far from us, that there be no Cop City. Yes. The second demand is that $85 million be given to the community for the community to decide what to do with. For the community to choose for ourselves how we spend that money, whether we choose education for children, housing for our families. What else do we choose? What else y'all want? What y'all want? Yell it out! Yell it out! Homeless shelters! Health care! Affordable housing. There's so much we could use $85 million for, and $85 million every single year could go far. The third demand is for that land that they plan to destroy and use to build this police militaristic training facility be given to the people for us to do what we want to do with it. Whether that be grow food, thank y'all. Whether that be to grow our own food, to have our own community centers, or to just be free in a space that feels good. Those are our three demands, and that's what we're moving towards. Thank y'all. wrong to sit here and pretend like this movement is not one of many. We are, as the Black Coalition, come from an abolitionist perspective, one that understands that we are following in the footsteps of our ancestors, one that understands that this is not a single moment, but this is a continual, protracted struggle that we continue to take and continue to move, and will continue to move for generations down the line and from generations back in the line, forward and back until the circle is complete. And in that, I'd like to introduce my good friend and organizer from Chicago, Destiny. The Black Coalition strategy for community engagement came from the No Cop Academy movement and their work in Chicago that started in 2019 with Chicago police.
Alright, can I speak to y'all for a moment? I said, can I speak to y'all for a moment? Okay, my name is Destiny Harris. I am a Black queer woman organizer from the west side of Chicago. Can we make some noise for that? So, as Sayu said, we know that this fight is not new. Abolition is not new. We have been talking about abolition for not 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years. Abolition comes from slavery. This is not a new concept. Can we make some noise for that? So in that spirit, I'd like to talk a little bit about my hometown because we know that this is not a struggle that is isolated. So as Sayu said, in 2017, the mayor of Chicago tried to do the same shit that is happening here in Atlanta. Everybody say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. So what did the city try to do? They tried to build a $95 million cop academy in a predominantly black and brown neighborhood within the city of Chicago. Everybody say that ain't right. On top of that, this was a few years after the city closed over 50 public schools in one of the largest public school closings in United States history. Say that ain't right. And why did the city close these schools? They closed these schools because they claimed they did not have enough money to keep them open. And where are we? 4 years later, we have $95 million coming out of our ass to fund cops. Everybody say that ain't right. So why is it that me, as a 5th grader, had to have my school closed down, right? Had to have half the city's mental health clinics closed down, but a few years later, we have $95 million to fund a cop academy, right? Do police keep us safe? No! Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? Right. So, on top of that, the Chicago Police Department was already getting 40% of the city's budget. That is, and when you break the numbers down, that was about $4 million a day. Imagine what we could do with $4 million fucking dollars a day. Make some noise for that. Okay. So, that's when you calculate the math, that's $1.4 billion a year. Imagine what we could do with $1.4 billion a year. And a lot of you guys were talking about the mayor of Atlanta, right? Andre, we got to get him out of here, right? We got all these mayors, right, that are black and brown and serve black and brown cities and don't do shit in the interest of black and brown people. The same thing was happening in Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Black queer woman, first black queer woman mayor of Chicago. Black youth told her that we did not want a $95 million cop academy, that it did not make us feel safe, that we wanted money for schools, that we wanted money for housing, that we wanted money for healthcare. And what did she do? She laughed in our face. And what did she do? Not get reelected. So I need y'all to have the same energy that we had in Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, the first black and queer mayor of Chicago, the first mayor in over 40-something years to lose a reelection. To lose a reelection. We need to do the same thing here in Atlanta because, like we're saying, this fight is not new. I was 16 fighting against No Cop Academy in 2017. It's 2023. It's 5 years later and the same shit is happening across the United States. Say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. So I say all this to say solidarity solidarity is what's important. Because this is not just happening in Atlanta. It's not just happening in Chicago. It's not just happening on the West Coast. It's not just happening over here. It's happening all across the world. Say that ain't right. And the militarization of the police, how much y'all think these damn batons and shields they got cost? How many books do you think one of the batons could fund? Right? How many, think about all the gear, all the riot gear they have on, all the militarization that we see right now in front of our face. Imagine how many teachers that could fund, right? Imagine how many schools that could keep open, right? Down to the little shit, right? So all I'm saying is I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for having us here. Like I said, I think it's really important to talk about like the people that came before us and the people that came after us, because like I said, No Cop Academy was in 2017, right? After that, you know, defund is becoming a big thing, right? We have all these defund police department movements going on across the nation, right? We have Stop Cop City. Solidarity is what's important, and what we need to do is we need to learn from our history, because I bet you a lot of y'all out here didn't even know that No Cop Academy was a thing. If you knew what No Cop Academy was right now before this moment, make some noise. All right, that's a few of y'all, but that ain't enough. So like I said, my name is Destiny. Thank y'all so much for having us. We're having a screening of the documentary. I know like Bayu and some of the folks from like the Stop Cop City Black Coalition, they pulled directly from No Cop Academy and strategy-wise, right? That's how some of the stuff that came to be today, that's where it came from. It came from black and brown youth within the city of Chicago. All right. So with that said, fuck 12. Y'all say fuck 12. Fuck 12. Fuck 12. Fuck 12. Thank you.
All right, y'all. We only have a few more speakers left. It's already past my bedtime, y'all, so I feel it. We only got a few more people left. Next up, we have Shantae.
Yes, Shantae.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight? It's cold, and we're out here for a purpose. My name is Shantae McLaughlin. I'm going to qualify myself real quick because we just had a gentleman saying that we should get jobs, right? I'm a self-employed human rights consultant. I ran for city council in East Point in 2021 under the guise of being someone with lived experience with mental health, under the guise of being someone that's justice impacted, under the guise of someone who's managed multi-million-dollar accounts and been the homeless person that we passed sleeping out here on these streets. So when I sit here and move my arm, I remember being incarcerated and having that police officer almost break my arm while I was pregnant with triplets in my belly. So when we talk about Cop City, we need to have a little more education. Let me qualify myself again. I'm in grad school at Morehouse School of Medicine in their MAGIC program. Masters in Administrative Justice Involved Care. What does that mean? To rewrite the healthcare policies for our jails, prisons, and institutions. So when I say that we need to educate ourselves a little more, when it comes to things such as Cop City, right? We sit here and we say things like, we need more funding for our libraries. We need more funding for this. Guess what? The funding for Cop City comes out of our block grants. So when y'all start complaining about the potholes and the beautification, the money to fund that is coming from that. So you need to start saying, why is it that we have militarization in block grants? Why do our police officers need to have this equipment that if the city doesn't spend it, they lose this militarized equipment? So we need to start asking those kinds of questions. We need to start saying things like, hey, we need schools. Where can we take those funds from in our police budgets, in our city budgets, and where can we reallocate the funding so that we aren't sitting here building more jails and prisons, so that we aren't sitting here building cop cities, so that we aren't sitting here funding police who don't give a fuck about us. We need to start demanding that people who are in office, people in office, you know how they get in office? We vote for them. And when we vote for them, you know what it's called? A public servant, which means that they are here to serve the public. They work for us. It's not just about we're not going to re-elect. It's about you work for us. We can at any time get you out of office. I've gone on public comment before at the People's Agenda. Michael Julian Bonds and I had a nice little chat where I asked him, I said, well, why do we have to keep the ACDC open?
And he said, well, since you know so much, how do we fund our libraries? That's what he said. I said, well, I'm sure the slave masters asked the slaves the same thing. So when we start talking about defunding the police, when we start talking about stopping Cop City, where are they getting these funds from? We need to make them show us their line item budget. When we have people not having sidewalks and the city council members who are accountable and responsible for things such as sidewalks, right? And they don't know that they even have a budget to fund this, so that our kids aren't out here getting hit by police and hit by cars while they're telling us to get out the damn street, right? So we need to stop just telling them to stop Cop City. We need to demand that they tell us where they're spending our taxpaying dollars. We need to demand that instead of these police officers being back here scared, you know why they're sitting here with all of this armor on? They're scared. They're just as scared as some of y'all are scared to say something. Because before today, some of y'all haven't said anything. And I'm not out here. You know where I've been? I've been sitting here with the Taylor English Law Firm, where you want to talk about voter laws and stuff like that. Taylor English Law Firm is the one who wrote the voter suppression laws. How do I know? I consulted for it. Wow. Guess whose law firm that is? Governor Kemp. Wow. Secretary of State. So when we talk about not having businesses, we need to start learning how do you get a business through the Secretary of State. We're talking about capitalism. I'm the first one to say I like my designer bags and my designer shoes, right? And y'all might sit here and say whatever y'all want to say, but guess what? We need to start hiring people who look like us instead of saying, well, I can't work for them because they can't afford to pay me, so I need to go work over here in corporate America. Let me qualify myself. In college, I worked in mergers and acquisitions for one of the largest insurance companies in the world. So when we talk about things such as defunding the police, when we talk about Cop City, we need to start supporting each other. We need to start standing together. We got Miss Kathy Lights out here with Jarvis Light's shirt on. She shouldn't be protesting and coming from Columbus at her age, having strokes and heart attacks and shit just to get justice for herself. We shouldn't have the Jimmy Atchisons of the world out here just by himself standing outside in front of East Lake demanding for Fannie Willis to investigate his son's murder. We need to start standing for one another. We need to start supporting one another. We don't start with the police. We got to go back to community police. We got to go back to a village. And until we sit there and we hold ourselves to account, we can't expect shit from these damn police officers or Mayor Andre Dickens. We got to support each other. We got to stand together and stop Cop City and stand in solidarity together. Thank you. Stop Cop City! 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 Stop Cop City!
Okay, we have two more speakers. The next speaker is Jordan.
It's J. Jordan Show, Chip Ghettos. The first thing I want to say is thank you to all of the Atlantans here, the residents here, who have taken it upon themselves to defend and steward this land where the state of Georgia, the city of Atlanta, and the counties of DeKalb and Fulton have failed. Second, I wanted to let you all know that I come from the Muskogee Nation Reservation in Indian Territory in Oklahoma, that I made the journey over here in my homelands to commune with my ancestors and to rise up with this community to defend this land. The third thing I'm going to do is turn around real quick because this is for you guys. You no longer have permission to be here. Yesterday I delivered your eviction notice to Mayor Andre Dickens to let you all know that the first peoples of this land know that you have failed to steward this community, know that you have failed to protect the graves of my ancestors, and that your eviction notice starts right now.
to what Monica said where we first started, which is if you haven't already and you're not already, please join an organization. I'm partial to community movement builders, that's where I organize, but there are so many other folks out here that are down to connect with you if you want to know how to get plugged in past that. And with that being said, we're going to hear from the founder of CNB.
How y'all doing out here? Y'all good? Are y'all tired? Y'all feeling good? Mayor Andre Dickens, is this enough black folks for you? Mayor Andre Dickens, do we have enough people here from Atlanta for you? Mayor Andre Dickens, do we have enough outside agitators for you? We are here as a unified movement of black folks, brown folks, folks from Atlanta, white folks, Indian folks, all folks who are against Cop City, because we know that we've said since the very beginning that Cop City will never be built. When Andre Dickens uses the language of outside agitators, he's using the language of Southern segregationists. He's using the language of the elite white political class that used to enslave black people, that used to Jim Crow black people. When these cops behind us wear the uniforms, they're wearing the uniforms of Southern segregationists. They've done nothing but update their history to replace the white Southern segregationists now with the black Southern segregationists and or the black gentrifier who support the white elite, the white economic elite who own Atlanta, who run Atlanta, who tell Mayor Dickens where he's going to put something, when he's going to put something, how much it's going to cost, and who's going to pay for it. When he tells Mayor Dickens, you do what I say, and we'll keep Buckhead here for you. You've been doing a good job. These are actual emails. You've been doing a good job on the policing thing, Mayor Dickens. I like the work you've been doing. I appreciate that good work you've been doing for me. And because of that, I'm going to defeat or tell my Republican allies not to vote to have Buckhead separate this time. But you got to keep up that good work. You got to keep gentrifying Atlanta. You got to keep sending these cops into black communities where 90% of the arrests that happen in Atlanta are done to black people. Do they know that? No. Do they care about that? No. That 90% of the people that you lock up are black people. Absolutely. They keep a jail open in Atlanta so that you can do what? Lock up more black people. Fulton County is building a $2 billion jail to do what? To lock up more black people. We know Cop City is nothing but a strategy for over-policing our communities. We know that Cop City is nothing but a strategy to stop our movements. And what movements are those? The movements against police violence and terrorism in our community. It is in 2021 that they introduced this idea to put Cop City out here to stop our movements. When people were talking about defund the police, abolish the police, find alternatives to public safety, they said, hell no, we want more police. And they put that idea out there. And the movement was born to stop Cop City. This movement is 2 years old, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop to me. So you got to remember, the reason we did a march like this today was to say to all the naysayers, black folks don't want Cop City. Indigenous people don't want Cop City. White folks don't want Cop City. Atlantans don't want Cop City. Folks from outside Atlanta don't want Cop City. Nobody in the United States wants Cop City. The Palestinians don't want Cop City. The people in Latin America don't want Cop City. Nowhere in this world do we want Cop City. Tell the corporations what? Hell no. Hell no. Tell the mayor what? Hell no. Tell the people who are the developers what? Hell no. Tell
police cops behind us, right? So we are here for a march today, which was to show that unity and strength. We wanted to make sure that we came in safety and we leave in safety. We wanted to make sure that we don't have any more political prisoners today. We have enough people right now that we have to defend. So when we did this march today, we put out the word that we wanted this to be a march about our unity and our safety in numbers. And as we wrap up today, that's what we want. It's not like we got to give them an excuse. They don't need an excuse to act like the pigs they can be. So we got to make sure when you are around wild animals. I used to be a practicing attorney. When I would do know your rights workshops, what I would tell people is, when you're around a cop, the same way when you're around a wild animal, what do you got to do? You got to be cautious. Yes. You got to be careful. You got to move a certain way. You got to know which way to go because you're looking to protect your safety. That's right. And right now, I'm looking to protect our safety. How you gonna protect? So as we depart here today, we are departing in unity. We are departing together. We are going to walk back in close quarters together where our cars were. If you're going to MARTA, you're going to walk close together with other people as you go to MARTA. If you need a van to pick you up, if you can't take MARTA, 2 blocks this way, by the plaza. So we want you to be safe, secure, because we want to be out here again to fight Cop City. We're here to do what? Stop Cop City! We're here to do what? Stop Cop City! We're here to do what? Stop Cop City! Let's go home.
Black and I'm white. It ain't about black and white, it's about respect.
Together, stay tight, stay together, stay tight. I mean,
Oh, fuck you, My God, Joe. They're putting all the signs over there. Look. Yeah, this is the one I want. Which is it? Oh, yeah, that one. I think one of my friends might have the. Yeah.